My daughter-in-law threw my dinner plate to the ground and screamed, "Get out of my life, you old hag." Can you imagine being thrown out of your own son's house by his wife, called an old shrew in front of everyone? I stood there, food splattered, my world crumbling. But what I did just 3 days later with a single letter. It made her literally fall out of her chair. My daughter-in-law, Victoria, she didn't just throw my plate on the floor that night. She shattered it, and with it, a piece of my heart. "Old hag," she screamed, her voice cutting through the elegant dinner party, "get out of my life." The sound of porcelain exploding against the hardwood still echoes in my mind, a chilling reminder. I can still see all 20 pairs of eyes staring at me, some filled with pity, some with sheer embarrassment. The whole room went silent. And just like that, I became the spectacle. My name is Ashley Thompson. I'm 65 years old. My entire life, I've tried to be a good mother, a supportive mother-in-law, a doting grandmother. But that night, Victoria made it brutally clear, none of it mattered. "Mom, please," my son Robert whispered, his eyes pleading. Pleading with me. Not once did he turn to his wife to tell her to stop. Not once did he stand up for me. I just stood there, food splattered all over my beige slacks, my hands trembling. Victoria glared, her perfectly made-up face contorted with pure disgust. This wasn't the first time she'd made her feelings known, but it was the most public. The most humiliating. "I think it's best if you leave, Ashley," she said, her voice dripping with the fakest concern imaginable. "You're clearly upset, and we wouldn't want you to have one of your episodes." Episodes? I don't have episodes. Never have. But Victoria, she had spent years building this twisted narrative about me for Robert and his friends. That I was unstable, difficult, intrusive. And my son, the little boy I raised alone after his father died when he was just 10 years old, he believed her. He actually believed her. As I gathered my purse, my cardigan, I caught sight of my grandchildren. Emma, 7, and Lucas, 5. They were peering from the top of the staircase, wide-eyed. They watched as their grandmother was thrown out of their home like garbage. What were they learning about respect? About family? The drive home was a blur. Tears, memories. I remembered when Robert first brought Victoria home, 5 years ago. She was charming then, laughing at my stories, complimenting my house. The change, it had been so gradual. A cancelled invitation here, a snide remark there. Then came the restrictions on seeing my grandchildren. Always an excuse, too busy, kids have activities, Victoria needs family time, without in-laws. I pulled into the driveway of the small house I'd lived in for 40 years. The house where I'd raised Robert alone, working 2 jobs to give him everything. Now he lived in a sprawling suburban mansion with a wife who despised me for reasons I simply couldn't fathom. Inside, I sank onto bottom left of screen, click full story.